In this next video, I will show you how to get started and purchasing your first domain step by step with a perfect name to completing the registration process. First of all is to choose a domain register. There's a lot of popular options, and even if I just type here new tab, let's say domain purchase, it should be sending you into a lot of places where you can just purchase your stuff. For example, domain.com. There's GoDaddy, there's Namecheap, Hostinger, Bluehost, and much more. Usually what I do is to open 2 out of 3 options to figure out which one is more affordable for me. So for example, now that I'm into Namecheap and domain.com, what I need to do is to know which is the registration, the domain name that I'm going to be using. So type in your desired domain. This can be your business name, a blog name, or any unique brand you want to create online. So let's type here, for example, domain.com. And here I'm going to type the name of my brand. For example, TechExpress. Now I'm going to hit into search. Exactly the same thing I'm going to be doing here into Namecheap, TechExpress, into the domain section. Once I hit now into search, it's going to be giving me a lot of domains that I can purchase. So here is the suggested names, and in the right side are here the actual prices per year. So this is the first year, and next it says retail. This should be the next payment for the next year. So my first year for TechExpress should be almost $6, and next year for, let's say, upgrading the same domain, I need to pay $34, which I think is pretty much. So you want to make sure that you're paying exactly the same retail when you purchase it in the retail. So I have here, I'm going to scroll a little bit down, I have this one that actually is going to be really low priced, $1 per year, and the retail is almost $2 per year. And now let's go into domain.com. Into domain.com, I do have here, for example, the TechExpress.site, $2. I have the TechExpress.store, $2. So you can see that here the .store inside this Namecheap costs us only $1, and the retail is $1.78. And into domain.com, this one is $1.99. So I can tell you guys that Namecheap is a really great place to purchase domains because you don't have to spend a lot. Once you know which is the actual domain would you like to purchase, let's head over to add to cart. Now if you hit now into add to cart, I'm gonna hit now into my checkout. Once I have now checked out these elements of the checkout, you see that we have the domain registration, the domain privacy. The great thing of Namecheap is that this one is totally for free. So we have the premium DNS, and this DNS of course can be helping us to have protection with DNS ultra fast and a lot of security, of course, for important businesses and important domains. So this one costs $5 if you enable this. If you don't want to enable this, then of course we cannot. And lastly, here we have a hosting. A web hosting is a place where you can just host a website, a domain. You can start generating your own content. In my case, I already have a hosting, so I don't need to focus into the domain. So let's go now into confirm my order. And once you have done this process, you can go into your account and focus into your domain list. Now into my domain list, you can see that here we can check out all the actual domains that we have purchased. So if I hit now into, let's say, managed, I can check out which is the domain name. I can check out the advanced DNS if I wanted to connect my domain into a specific server, website, and hosting. So from here, you can configure the DNS settings linked to a website builder, or even set up a custom email address. For example, into Google Sites. To create an actual website, and I go, for example, to add a custom domain, it's going to be asking me to start the setup. And if I hit to start the setup, it's going to be asking me to enter some DNS. So those record, this information should be imported from here. So usually it's going to be asking you to enter a custom CNAME record, TXT record, or NA record with the specific value that the application asks you to. And that, guys, is how you can make the purchase of one domain in a very easy way. We are using Namecheap because this one is really affordable, easy, and fast way to get started with your very first domain. So that's it, guys. You now know how to get started with a domain name. It's the first step in building your online presence. So if this tutorial helped you a lot, be sure to like, subscribe for more helpful guides on launching your website, and well, hopefully we can all see you next time.